This is mostly being organized by Native American groups, specifically the Sioux tribe, that are going to be directly affected by the pipeline if it is fully constructed. And I heard about it kind of lingering through social media, and then as the protests kind of heated up, it obviously became something more prominent, specifically within even just the past 2 weeks. A lot of the protests have turned violent on both sides. It's an energy pipeline that is running from North Dakota to Illinois, and it was started by, it's being built by Dakota Access LLC, which is kind of a subsidiary of Direct Energy Transfers, which is a southern-based oil company. It is serving the purpose of transporting oil from fields to refineries, so it's not even necessarily comparable to Keystone, where Keystone was more importing oil. This one is just domestic transportation.
And they were originally going to have it be built near a certain town, and the town said, well, in the event that it breaks, it could pollute our water, so we don't want it near our town. So the people said, okay, we'll build it somewhere else. And then they picked an area right next to a native reservation to build it, and the people there also said, well, we don't want this either, because if it breaks, then all of our water is going to get contaminated too. But they then proceeded to build it anyway, or they're beginning to build it anyway.
So the reason it's so harmful to the local community is because it's being built underneath the Mississippi River, which is a key water source to all of the residents there, including the Standing Rock Sioux tribe.
First, they're speaking up for the fact that the pipeline is running directly through their tribal lands, and this includes, although it's not directly a part of the Indian reservation, this is where they have ceremonial burials and sites that are important to their heritage, and so literally the pipeline will be running through like the burials of their ancestors.
Originally, the town that was mostly a white town that said, no, we don't want this, please build it somewhere else, they got their wishes respected, and the people the native people are saying the same thing, but they aren't getting their wishes respected. That just seems like it's kind of a slap in the face to like a lot of people in America.
Well, social media has made this issue really interesting. It, on one hand, brought a lot of attention to the issue through people checking in on Facebook at the specific location where the protests are taking place. There's a rumor that the police were using Facebook check-ins as a way to identify people and therefore justify their arrest for being on private property. And whether or not that's true, I think the fact that I think it was over 1.5 million people checked into these locations shows the solidarity that the American people have for this cause, whether or not they can actually be there to stand in solidarity with them.
And social media is great for, you know, showing solidarity and like expressing your opinions and expressing your public opinion, but I think that there is a tendency for people to just, in general, in terms of activism, post on Facebook and feel like they've made a difference. And it's like, maybe you've made a difference by changing some people's minds, but are you going to change their minds enough for them to actually act on it if you yourself haven't actually acted? So I think it's important for people to be aware that, you know, just because you said something about it on Facebook doesn't mean that you're actually having the effect that you want it to have.
Social media is just an ever-present aspect of our lives, and I think it's a great and easy way for people to show their solidarity with people and to say that they're standing with them and that they recognize that this is a problem.
I think it's super important that people show their solidarity. The actual checking in served two purposes. It was like showing solidarity, but also actually doing and having some effect, because it made it harder for police to made it harder for police to hurt any of the protesters that were there.
To the students at BU, I would say get involved, inform yourself on the situation if anything, just read about it, talk about it with your friends, see what's going on, because this is something that is going to affect our future.